the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck off the property.
Can I get a witness? Slow down, everybody. No. Can I get a witness?
Figured I'd piss some people off early. Feast of Hats, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. So I'm trying to get out more information about this story. But you hear about George Floyd's niece being shot? George Floyd, who was killed by now infamous race soldier Derek Chauvin, his niece has been shot. And her father said that it's a targeted situation. Like, I don't know exactly what that means, but that's weird to me that somebody would be coming after George Floyd's niece. And I think it's his great niece. So it would be his nephew's kid. So his brother's kid. So I don't know how that plays out, brother or sister. But yeah, she's like 4, 5, shot in her home. And he's now saying that it was a target. And then I guess the police have botched the investigation. So that's weird that they wouldn't be on top of that shit, knowing, you know, maybe they didn't know it was George Floyd's people. I don't know. He says it was a target. So maybe that'll all play out. But anyways, that was something weird. Really wasn't planning to talk about that. But believing and non-believing will get you killed. I think that's what I ended up settling on for a title for this. Let me make sure that that's what it stuck with. Because I started composing this earlier and then just some things happened, got in my way. Oh, wow. Kyrie Irving played tonight? Okay, I get it. That's cool. Oh, wow. This is funny to me. I ain't gonna say nothing. Because now I know who's bought and paid for out here. Woo! Washtenaw County folks so funny. Washtenaw County folks are so funny. Like I said, believing and non-believing will get you killed. You believe in the wrong people, they'll get you killed. And if you don't believe in the right people, they'll get you killed. So just letting you know, believing and non-believing can get you killed. Hell, by the same individual. But like I said, we're not in this to have people like us. If I wanted people to like me, trust me, I do some goofy shit. I do goofy cast all day, every day, minute here, 30 minutes here. You know, no, I don't leave those type of messages because I'm not that type of messenger. So I'm not gonna leave some goofy shit for y'all to sit and giggle at and gain absolutely nothing from. If you can't learn from something that I say, then you probably aren't listening. Let me just be honest. You ain't listening if you're not learning something that I say. But yeah, it's crazy that he came out immediately and said that they were targets. So I'd want to know who he was targeted by. But if he's implicating the police, because I guess the police took hella long to show up. They didn't even come to the house and investigate. Now, your house gets shot up. There's got to be a crime scene built, right? And you got to go looking for where the bullets came from and where they went through the holes in the wall. You know, I mean, I saw a lot of episodes of The Wire. Well, I've seen every single episode of The Wire, so I'm pretty fucking good with detective work. 60 minutes at a time. But to not have any police come after your daughter's been shot, taken to the hospital, to not have anybody show up for 4 hours after, and then, you know, there's paramedics and all kinds of people that have gone in and out of the house, you don't really have a crime scene. So I'm not sure exactly how they're going to investigate this properly if they let 4 hours lapse between the time that the incident happened and time they showed up, as far as the Houston Police Department goes. So it's going to be pretty interesting to know that if they fuck this family over after they got fucked over in Minnesota, you know, I don't know. The Floyd family's definitely got, don't call Ben Crump. She didn't die. So don't call Ben Crump, because he's just going to settle. He's going to wait for her to see if she's going to die, to see if he can settle. Y'all need a real lawyer to really, really get behind this. And y'all got the bread now. Y'all got George's bread. Ante up for an attorney. Get a real attorney. Get a real attorney. And you might have something there. The Houston Police Department might have just fucked up and put y'all in play for some more millions. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. But just letting everyone know that we are not a kid-friendly show. I think we stated that at the beginning.
Now do yourself a fucking favor and get the fuck out of my store.
Get the fuck out of here.
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 Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck off the property.
So you've got to believe people when they tell you shit. And some people might be flat out telling you a lie, but you still got to believe them. You got to believe the lie. You got to know that the lie is a lie, because that will get you killed if you don't believe the lie is a lie. If you know the lie is a lie, believe that shit and believe that individual and believe the reason that they told you that lie. Then leave them the fuck alone, because you're probably going to die if you keep fucking with that kind of individual. Believe motherfuckers. I'm trying to tell you. Believe people when they tell you shit, whether it's a lie or not. Because if they're telling you a lie and you don't believe that it's a lie, you're going to die. If you believe the lie to be truthful, you can still die. So you better believe what you need to believe. It is what it is. No, there's no such thing as a honest, dependable service. No such thing. So you gotta believe people, you know. And I know a lot of people look at people like church people. A lot of people look at church people like, you know, oh, they don't lie. They tell the truth. They're church people. They're religious. Some of the biggest liars I've ever met. And if you believe the wrong shit from somebody who's so-called religious or spiritual, you know, a follower of God, you'll die there too. I almost did. Yeah, I had a God-fearing woman. I needed that bitch to fear me, though. If she had feared me, she wouldn't have did the shit she did to our family. See, that's the problem. She feared God, but she didn't fear me. Brother Emmanuel, how you doing tonight? Just decided to come up tonight, Brother Emmanuel, to talk about believing and not believing, and how you can meet a demise doing both. What's up, Shell? You can definitely meet your demise by doing both. Believing the wrong people will put you in a fucked up situation. Believing in the wrong people will put you up in a fucked up situation. I've done this many times. So you don't find me in a lot of stores. You will never, ever find me in a lot of stores. You know, I mean, if I'm not somewhere trying to buy something to build something, you won't find me like just in stores. I just don't go to stores to shop. I don't go to stores to shop. But I've bought a lot of people's stories. I've bought a lot of people's stories. And when you buy people's stories, they don't really come with a price tag, but they're costly. And at some point, I must have believed in these individuals, because when I bought their stories damn near killed me. Damn near killed me. It can happen. You can believe someone so strongly and believe in someone so strongly, you will be the one that's negatively affected when it all goes down. Not them, not even them. They're going to be better off than you because you bought their story. Just saying. You have to at least know if what you're believing is a truth or a lie. You've got to be able to protect yourself. And most people don't know how to do that. Most people don't know how to do that. Once you buy into somebody's story, you become vulnerable. Once you become vulnerable, now you've got to make some decisions that, okay, I'm vulnerable, but you can't become weak. Because once you become weak, they are a predator, you are the prey. And if they see weakness, that's like smelling blood in the water, yada, yada, yada. So, believe a motherfucker when he's talking to you. Believe him. I always make a comment about staying ahead of the pimps, hustlers, thieves, and preachers, because that's pretty much who I got to stay ahead of. I've got to stay ahead, you know, the thieves, the preachers, the hustlers. Sometimes they're all the same people, but I got to stay ahead of those motherfuckers because they're trying to do you in, because they have nothing else but to do you in. They don't have anything to stand on. They stand on people. Preachers stand on people. Let's just be honest. Preachers stand on people. Most preachers, especially the ones who don't have a job, who just rely on the church, they stand on the people. They stand on the shoulders of the people. And when you stand on somebody, whoever's at the bottom is going to get crushed. Period. Period. I mean, Antonio Brown, whether he knew it or not, he has literally made international news. Frankly, the story is over for me. I mean, they can say what the fuck they want to say now, but if he was injured and the coach didn't know, there's a whole chain of people that should be fired before it gets to a situation of dealing with the coach, because the coach thought he was active and okay to play. So he asked him to go back in the game. When he refused to go back in the game, that became a conflict. Coach had already been told he wasn't good to go. And he shouldn't have been requesting his services. But, you know, it is what it is. But all that bouncing around and taking his clothes off and this, that, and the other, that ain't got shit to do with whether that coach asked you to go in that game or not. Even if he did say leave the field, taking your uniform off, throwing your shit into the crowd, doing jumping jacks in the end zone, trotting off the field, you didn't really look like your ankle hurt that much. So if that's what he wanted to ride with it, his ankle wasn't filling up to snuff, how'd you jog off the field the way you did? Jumping jacks, trotting out the field, side shuffle. Did you do a karaoke too? I mean, he did all kinds of shit. I don't quite understand that analogy of a totem pole, Emmanuel, but okay. So, but yeah, believing people, you know, you gotta have trust. You gotta have trust, but you can't trust for the wrong reasons. Your trust should be for the truth. Don't just trust somebody because you want to believe them, because you want them to be, you know, good in their shit, because they're just not. Let's just be honest. Let me be honest. People aren't. People aren't. And shit's getting worse for folks out here, so they're gonna be more desperate to tell you more shit that's untrue, unreliable, unworthy of your hearing. Preacher standing on top of the yeah. I think that he has some issues. If we're still speaking about Antonio Emmanuel, I think he has some issues, and it's unfortunate that they can't detect a lot of stuff until these guys die. But I do believe that he has some issues to the point where he needs to be checked out. And I'm not talking about his ankle. I mean here. I think there's some mental doors that need to be unlocked. You know, he could probably still go out and be a effective football player for somebody, but there's just going to be another fallout. So before that's all said and done, because he's nearing the end of his career, the guy's in his early 30s. He's not going to play forever. He's taken a lot of hits. Smaller receivers, taken a lot of hits, done a lot of stuff. So I think his career is winding down, but for him to wind down the proper way, I think he's going to need to get some help. But other than that, I don't know if he's going to play again. I mean, he may be able to play for the Buccaneers the way they talk about they might actually need him and shit. So we'll see how this all plays out for the playoffs. You know, I was so upset that he didn't get that money, but I didn't realize he had a whole nother game to get it. So are they going to suspend him for the last game, bring him back for the playoffs? Are they going to play him in this game and then suspend him? I don't know how it's all going to work out. You know, be good to see him get his money, but I don't think he's going to get his money because I don't think he's going to play. And I know people are talking about, you know, whether he deserves the money. He earned it. If he got all the way up to those catches and those yards needed, he earned all that. He absolutely deserves his money if he can get back on the field. It's whether he can get back on the field or not. So I'm looking at things from a different perspective for him. I want him to be healthy mentally before somebody's concerned about whether he's healthy physically, because I don't believe his physical health is where we need to be focusing our concern if we truly care about Antonio Brown. I don't know Antonio Brown from this joint that I'm about to smoke, but I do know that he's a black man, and I don't want to see anybody go through any undue situations health-wise, especially not a black man. I don't know, because I've never risen to those heights, but what he had to do to become a professional football player is nothing short of remarkable. Okay? So you gotta commend him for that. You gotta commend him for that dedication getting there. But the things that have happened throughout his career and the directions that he has gone, no, not always proud to see, but he's a black man. And I understand the dynamics of what he's gone through psychologically, I think, because he's had to do a lot of minimizing of himself. And that takes a lot, especially when you're told you're the best your whole life, pretty much. And then you've got to take a backseat to a lot of shit, a lot of thoughts, things that you might have just said because you just felt like saying them. He couldn't say those things in a lot of ways in the NFL. And when he did, then things happened. But I think this is one of his last opportunities, if it's not his last. And what people should have done from the beginning was they should have believed Antonio. They should have believed the things that he was telling them, because he was telling them some ridiculous truths when he played for Pittsburgh. You know, when he played for the Raiders and the Patriots and now the Buccaneers, every team that he's played for and in between all the other stuff, he's told some ridiculous truths, but I don't think the right people have believed him. And that's a problem. Because only thing that people really cared about were his hands and his feet. Is he going to run fast, and is he going to catch those balls and catch those touchdowns? It's all most people cared about when Antonio Brown came into the discussion. The fact that this is some personal shit, this is some mental health shit, most of the sports world doesn't even care. So many people out here now got fucked up fantasy football teams and all that shit. And that's all they really care about. Will he not be around for this second go round of them possibly trying to get another Super Bowl ring? They're concerned about that. They're not concerned about Antonio Brown's mental health status. They don't give a fuck whether he's like sitting there just and has CTE, just there. But we're not going to be able to detect it until he's dead. And hopefully he doesn't meet an untimely death. Hopefully he doesn't meet an early death. An untimely death would be if he killed himself or somebody killed him. You know, an early death is because there's certain things that happen to these guys dying. They're dying in their 40s now. Shit. And I believe that if he doesn't get the proper help, it's going to be difficult for him to survive. It's going to be difficult. Her new narrative, how you doing today? Peace to Cargo 420, thanks free. Cargo420.com. Freeze your screen. Scam that. Adults only. Adults only. Happy New Year, her new narrative. But yes, believing anything and everything, believing it's a truth, believing it's a lie, not believing it's a truth, it's a lie, can leave you in the same space. I know, Carlinda. I know this. You changed your name, so I have to call you by your handle now. I try to be professional in that way. I'm not professional in any other way, so try to be professional in that. We've got a lot happening, and hopefully people understand. They're not talking about this shit right now because I believe it's, and I don't know how this could be happening again, but we've been caught off guard again by the uprising in cases, diagnoses. I don't know exactly what they call it at this point. I don't know how we keep getting caught off guard. I just don't know. But you've got to understand. I'll bring you up in just a sec, Carlinda. They're not talking about this shit. And we've got so many people that are sick and so many people that have left this place. I don't think they know what to say, and maybe they're trying not to scare people, but I think they are scaring more people. They're scaring more people by not talking about it. Or these briefings that they're having, they're not making any sense. So it's hard for me to believe that. I'm not saying that I'm a non-believer, but it's hard for me to be a believer. I think I got that, Emmanuel. All right. Let me see here. All right, I'm inviting Carlinda. I just invited Carlinda, her new narrative. Said she wanted to come up so she does have something to say. Discovered in France. Oh, so you're serious, dude. I thought that I hate you. I thought that meant like I hate you. Okay, I totally meant that. I totally lost that altogether. Real shit. All right, I invited you, Carlinda. All right. Hey, lady, how you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm good. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too. How was your holidays?
You know, they were days.
They were days.
They were days, you know.
Same shit, different days, huh?
Yeah. I got
Same shit, different year. Same shit, different year.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty
I
much.
I I feel that, man.
Yeah.
But with this whole coronavirus stuff and whatever, I think it's like, I mean, it's obvious to me that it was, you know,
Be careful, because I can't take another YouTube strike. So say what you need to say. Just.
I
I
know,
can't do.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
I just
trying
can't
to
do
be as
another YouTube
careful as I
strike.
can,
All right.
but I think that this has been being planned out, and I could be wrong, but I feel like, I mean, who could it takes 5 to 10 years to make a vaccine, and this
All
vaccine
right. Let's
stuff,
let. You know what? Here's the thing, though. I don't want to get into that shit. I really don't
right,
want to do. I don't. I can't go there. I don't want the strike. I don't want the. Yeah.
right.
I'm building my page to the point where I can't do that.
I
If I was
understand,
just on Haps, it'd be different. But this shit goes into Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, so I can't. Yeah, I
right,
can't. I can't.
right.
I can't do all
I
that.
I
You
I
know,
I
how long it
respect
takes
that.
and all that shit. All right. So
I
yeah.
respect that.
Okay.
I respect
Yeah.
that.
I don't. And at this point, I don't give a fuck how long it takes for any of this shit. It's here now. I really don't
Right,
care. It's here, and we got to deal with it one way or the other. So some people are dealing with it one way, other people are dealing with it other ways, and some people aren't dealing with it at all, and they're dying. So
right.
I don't. There's not a lot. There's not a lot I can really say about it. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to. I'm not neutral, but there ain't no point in me speaking on shit that really doesn't matter. I'm not a scientist. I'm not in
Right.
the medical field and shit like that.
No,
And
I understand, Shannon.
yeah,
I
so
understand, bro.
I don't even I don't I don't understand, exactly why it was even brought out this way. I mean, if you have something that's going to directly affect the whole country, then talk to the whole country like that. But they tried to parcel this out like it was only going to affect certain people, whether they be certain ethnicities, certain income levels, certain health levels, and truthfully, it can affect anybody. I've seen motherfuckers who had
Right,
so-called perfect health die.
right,
They're athletes, this, that, and the other, and they died. Then I've seen people that are tragically unhealthy just on a regular basis without anything. They're tragically unhealthy, and they've caught it and survived. So there's no rhyme or reason why anybody's leaving, this, that, and the other. I don't think they know any of that. Whether you do get it, whether you don't get it,
right.
I don't want to get it. I don't,
I
and I know they're listening, and they listen to people like me, not people that have fucking platforms with 100,000 people. They'll listen to somebody with 500 YouTube subscribers and say, "Hey, that guy's spreading misinformation to the masses, to the
right.
mass, the 500 fucking followers. He's spreading." But they won't say that shit to somebody who has 500,000 subscribers and they
Right.
spew shit all day. But
No, I get that. I get that.
yeah, but so I mean, I
Let's
talk
talk
about.
a, let's talk about something else.
Well, there's a ton else to talk about, but there's like I said, everything kind of bottlenecks into this shit all the time. But when I talk about like even mental health shit, nobody wants to talk about mental health and the mental health issues that this has caused. See,
Right.
I mean, there's people right now. There's people right now that are totally mind fucked as to wear a mask, not wear a mask. Oh, if I am vaccinated, they say I don't have to wear a mask, but then you're not protected against somebody else who's not vaccinated who may come into your space because now that you are, doesn't mean that you can't get it. So people are mind fucked over whether they need to, whether they don't need to. That's the
Right.
craziness. And
Right.
why isn't anybody really concerned about like slowing that part of it down and saying, shit, like this is the reasons why, how it could help versus, just giving people the option.
Educating somebody to do something. Right.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, why do we need signs? Why do we need any of that shit if this is supposedly the proven point to not stop it, but at least slow transmissions down. So, you know,
Right.
I don't know. We have a ballless government,
Yeah.
and your health system is only going to be as strong as your government. So, you know, it's, I don't know, it's kind of the blind leading the blind. So I
Right.
can speak about it that way without speaking about it at all. You know, I mean, you know, but as far as who started it, where it came from, who did this, who did that, who coughed up, I don't, you know, none of that shit
Right.
matters
I'm
here,
not.
man.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore because it's already here. So what?
Right,
What the hell?
right. So it's
You
here.
know.
What the
So
fuck's up with the trolls? We are to social distance until we fly in a plane with several others. Hey, the craziest thing is when I see the little
hey,
leaguers,
Daniel.
when I see the little leaguers, and up to high school, I guess I've seen high school do it too, where they'll play against each other, and there's all types of contact during the game, but then at the end of the game, they don't let them shake hands. It's like, wait a minute, they've touched each other for 40 minutes, but now they can't go through and slap hands. It's just like,
I know.
so. What's up, Kimi?
Hey, Cammy. What's up, sis?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I've definitely learned to within all this, I've learned to believe what I need to believe, which kind of goes back into my title.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Take what you want and file the rest for future reference, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have the whole thing. I'm gonna eat whatever meat I eat off the bone, and then how I discard the bone, that's up to me. But just giving me shavings of meat, yeah, you're gonna leave me hungry. You're gonna leave me starving. You're gonna leave me. Most times, you'll leave me malnourished. And when someone's malnourished, they go get nourishment from somewhere else, whether it's good for them or not, whether it's actually nutritious or not. They're going to eat, and I think that's what they've left America to do, is to kind of eat when,
Yeah.
you know, they can
Right.
eat. I don't believe that the Americans have been put into the best position. And I don't know how other countries have dealt with it and when their numbers have gone. I don't know any of that stuff. So I just
I don't
believe that
either.
I believe we were sold a different type of situation,
Yeah.
and we're continually being, you know, and I don't know what that situation really is because we haven't gotten to the other side of it yet.
Right. We don't know what it looks like yet.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
have we had a person like where they've said like there was like really stricken and then they like had a baby? Have we had somebody like that was really bad, and then they had a baby? Like, and what's the health of that baby? What's the condition of that baby? Have we really turned science to the point where they're looking at what newborn life is going to be like if a person like had been really riddled, you know, with it, and then came out of it, procreated, had a baby, and what's that baby's condition? So there's a lot of things that they've got to look at more so than just, you know, whether people are going to, you know, get it, not, da 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 da. Where's the next level of life?
Right.
You know, like here, you know, we had.
And furthermore, I'm gonna say what is the solution to this?
That's, you know,
They don't even know.
but that's asking a rhetorical question. I mean, it's not even rhetorical. It's actually an unanswerable question. So you got to ask questions that you can get answers to.
Right.
You can't get the answer to that. The solution is the cure. Well, who has the cure?
Right.
That's the solution. You got to know what you got before And we don't know that because now what we dealing with now? We're dealing with the new variant. What, every 6 weeks now?
Yeah.
Every couple of months. So how do you know what you got if something mutated every couple of months?
Right.
You know. So I
So how have you been since we last talked?
fine. I'm fine.
Good.
Yeah. Lots changed on Haps, you know, so I don't get up here as much.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll pick and choose my times to come up. But
So do you go by Here's the Thing on YouTube and all that too?
nah, it's Friedman Media. It's Friedman Media. That's where all the videos land. Here's the Thing is only for Haps. I only changed it because I changed it. I changed it, you know, for Haps. But
Right.
that's the land. That's just the landing channel
So
for
how can I get subscribed to you?
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just it's Friedman Media 1874. So I don't know if I can put it in. I don't know if I can put it in the chat or not. What's up, Karan?
Cause I'll subscribe.
Yeah, you should have
You're on Facebook
already
too,
been a
right?
subscriber to the channel.
No,
You should
I
have.
never been subscriber to your YouTube channel.
Let's see here.
You got Facebook, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm sending it. I'm just gonna send the link through there. Yeah, I'm sending it. I'm just gonna send the echo. Did it come through there?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So yeah, clicking that link, that'll go right to the channel.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'll
let's see.
subscribe to
I'm gonna
that.
bring Karan up, see if he can come up.
The more the merrier.
Only if they stay on topic, though.
Yeah.
I don't like a lot of randomness, and that's where a lot of silly shit gets said, and that's how I end up with all my strikes.
Right.
Because it's never from me.
Right.
I mean, I don't mind people saying what they feel, but when you say something that goes against just, you know, common shit.
Right. I get you. I feel you.
These motherfuckers, boy, they be so goddamn thirsty online.
I don't know. I've been doing pretty good. I love Alana.
How's your son doing?
Huh?
How's your son doing?
He's doing all right. He's thinking about moving down here.
Moving to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Where's he at now?
In Montana.
Why does he get the fuck out of Montana? Montana is not a place for your son.
No, I know.
But why doesn't he leave there? Why is he fucking around? That can be bad.
Yeah. Well,
Like, okay, how many black people are where your son's at?
Probably 2% of the population.
Okay, but I'm just talking like in your son's circle. How many black people does he interact with like on a regular basis?
He interacts with them quite a bit.
Okay, so he knows the black people that are around there.
Yeah.
Okay. He's just not out there. He's just not like a spot, like in a whole field of white people. There's black people that he knows too.
Yeah.
Now
And he hangs out with more of the minorities, like the Hispanics and the natives and stuff. He hangs out with the more of the native, the minorities than he does the majority. You know.
so he hangs out with other poor people. They just don't happen to be black.
Right.
I mean, does he hang out with affluent Hispanic people or affluent Native Americans, or are these people just pretty much just standard working class people?
Standard working class people, except one.
Except one.
Yeah. One has a bachelor's degree in communications.
Are they independently wealthy, or do they still work for someone?
They work for themselves.
They work for themselves.
Yeah.
Brother Gaines,
My brother,
how you doing?
better.
Good, good.
Uh,
Carlinda, this is
So-
Karan. Karan's Carlinda.
How you doing, Queen?
Carlinda, tell Karan what is the thing you're doing? What's your research?
Okay, I am. I moved from my home state to Atlanta to do my internship, and I'm gonna graduate in June with a PhD degree in forensic psychology.
Oh, that's dope. Congrats.
And
And I really like it.
she's got a wild ass story, bro. She got a wild. We can't go all the way in through it tonight, but I don't know how people like that go through shit like that end up where she's at, but it's a testament. It's a testament. It's like resilience, because when you think of people like that have an opportunity and they just make it all the way through this, that, and the other, this ain't the way Carlinda did it. So, she's had
Well,
some.
see, the thing is I have you have you black people to think about that, because I was around around you guys a lot in the black community and everything, and you guys taught me resilience, and you guys taught me how to get up and take a licking and keep on ticking. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
get what you're
so,
saying.
I'm not a weak person. You guys have made me very, very strong.
So, would you say that the years that you spent around people that look like myself, look like Karan, that's been more beneficial in your life, and as far as your things that are the way they've
Yeah,
gone, like scholastically and stuff?
because I mean, you guys understand what it's like to hit bottom, and then get up and make a success out of yourselves. And not all of you guys do that, but the ones that I've saw has gone out with a bang. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Now, Karan, you
And
don't know.
to be honest with you, I've checked out of the white society long ago,
Well, I don't know if you can check
because
all the
I
way
don't
out.
agree with it.
I don't know if you can check all the way out. You might be able to, like, do a sabbatical or something, but I don't think you can check actually all the way out.
Well, it's been a long fucking sabbatical, because here I've been like this for what 25, 30 years like this,
Okay, I get it.
so it's been a long fucking sabbatical,
So
Shannon.
so maybe you're not going back, but I'm just saying. I'm just
Can I
saying.
ask you a question?
Sure.
Um, I thought all people were capable of being resilient, and I know a lot of white people who start from the bottom. A lot of Mexican people or Hispanic or what is it that's about quote unquote black or brown or colored or African American people that's so special that you learn so much from? I'm curious to hear.
Um, you guys are very unique, and you guys are, I mean, you have a lot of intelligence, you know, mainly, a lot of intelligence and a lot of insight that other people don't have.
So you may have to dig into a little bit of your personal life, Carlinda. And I know you've done that. You've been quite candid before. So I think and I'm maybe you gave enough of the answer there, but I think what Karan was asking was more of like how did we get that tag? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, because you've been around a considerable amount,
Yeah.
but you've also been in some with the whole Montana thing and all that. You know, what's some things that you've gone through to where you've seen black people basically
Excuse
give
me, y'all.
you that, you know, the
Um,
ideology that they've given you about us? Like, can you think of some instances, like not so much just the stat itself, but like what made you say like,
I,
damn, you guys are different?
I think I asked the wrong question, big homie.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
what is
so
it
what's the
that
question?
that makes us separate to where a color of people is a difference from what you feel you are or were? Or I thought we were all inclusive and so we're all human. I know white people that's resilient. I talk to Indian people from India that's resilient. I
Right.
know like what makes what we would call a black person different.
Well, you there's just a special aura about you guys, and you guys are the ones that speak up the loudest.
But who's listening? Because we don't get what we need politically. We
Right.
don't we don't we don't get what we need, economically. Um, we may speak up loud, we may speak up often, but the people that need to be listening, the powers that be, they're not listening. So we're obviously not speaking into the right microphone, so to speak. Maybe that might.
That is a problem. I'm not gonna deny that is a problem. And you're and this is how we get off on systematic racism and all this. Because they don't want to help. They don't want to help a certain minority out or whatever. And so we get into systematic racism there. You know,
But in America, black people aren't the minority.
right?
They just tell us that.
Well, you guys are the
So,
minorities, and I'm not arguing with you on
so
that, Ron.
no, it's not an argument, Queen. What if my question is because I don't know your story, and I'm very curious, and I'm not. I don't want to seem. I didn't chime in to be a asshole.
No,
Um,
I don't think you
I
are.
don't. If I come off with that at any moment, let me know.
Oh, I
Um,
will.
I'm very curious. Okay, I haven't heard your story, but my other question is, what if you grew up around white people that was a little bit more balanced? Would you look at black people as special, Or is it that you went through some things in life
I
and you
went
felt
through
the
enough.
next?
I've been through shit, and I've been through hell and back. You know, and
But that's
I
not a
mean,
color thing. That's a
well,
human
I
thing.
know, but see, the thing is where the fuck was the white people at when all this shit was happening to me? They didn't give a damn. You know what I mean? And so black people, you know, had scooped me up and you know they gave a shit.
And right. And so my second question was, if you had a grew up around more balanced white people who are more supportive or whatever it is you went through, would, do you think you would still look at black people as the way you do? Because it's kind of like me saying, because I went through something and this group of people was, when I went through it, it pushed me down to be around these people. It forced me to be around them. And in the midst of me climbing out of it, am I giving credit to them for that? Or you kind of get what I'm saying? It's just
I
hard for
I
me
get
to
what you're
to
saying,
blame it
but
on the color.
I'm not
Well,
blaming anything on the color.
do you? Okay, so I have a question about that.
Yeah.
I have a question about that because Quran doesn't know like the dynamic and things like that. Um,
Oh, my history and stuff.
yeah, I remember the situation. You were saying something about your son and how most of the discrimination that he was getting was from his father's side of his family,
Right.
which is her son's black,
Okay.
and so the most and but they're
Not
okay.
all of his dad's family, but a major portion of it, you know? Yeah.
So say it one more time.
A major portion of my son's dad's family, you know, is, you know, doesn't really, you know, show him, you know, they're not so accommodating, let's put it that way.
Sure.
But,
And where
you
and where
know,
are they from?
but
Where do they live?
they moved from Chicago to Montana.
They moved from Chicago. So these are black folks that moved from Chicago to Montana.
Right.
Okay. Did they move there for like
Okay,
wealth?
I'm gonna just say it. My hometown in Montana, in Billings, Montana, it used to be a um a ground, and um Rockford, Illinois was the headquarters of it, but and that's 40 miles south of Chicago and
Mhm.
stuff, right? So anyway, um what happened was is that, you know, how can I put it? Um
Was
they
this a
would
race?
use
Was this a
they would
racist?
use my hometown as a knockoff line, you know, to recruit girls and sex traffic them.
Mm.
So
And this is
isn't Montana like big with like opiates and all that shit too?
Yeah, and it's crystal meth capita.
Yeah.
It's bad there, man. It's bad.
So and as far as his family, the black people that are in his family, like are they hooked up in all that?
Yeah, they are. They're
So
crackheads and you know all that type of stuff.
so the dynamic is really weird, Karan. Like when she told this story one day, we were on, I don't know, it was one of those days we had like a 5 hour stream. And she came on, she told her story. Several people said whatever, and we're being fragmented now because we're kind of jumping all over the place because of your question. I just, I think what's happened to her is her experiences, not so much just with the white people, but and the black people, but it's the experiences of both. Like some of the stuff that I would have thought would have been when she just starts talking. I'm thinking it would be the white people, but it'd be the black people that she's talking about, and how degrading they were to her son. And I can't remember exactly. I don't know if it was about beating some girl up or something, but they wanted him to like show he was a man by beating his woman up, and he wouldn't do it. He didn't believe in it, and they is that kind of how it happened, Carlinda? I can't remember exactly what the situation was.
Yeah, yeah, because he got with this white girl and stuff, and he was trying to, get her to calm down because she was extremely drunk and stuff, and they framed him and they gave him a PMFA, which is partner family member assault, and then
Partner,
they gave him,
family member assault. I never heard of that. What's
yeah.
that?
That's new.
Well, that's Montana's domestic violence
That sounds
thing.
kind of nice. That's like a nice charge.
Yeah, that's
A
a family
partner,
thing.
family member assault. Like
Different,
you
this.
hit it, but y'all related and shit, so it's okay.
So would he
Well,
probably
that's
sit
what
in the county
Montana
to the
calls
morning,
it.
or
What do you say,
Okay.
Karan?
I said, is that one of them things you kind of like just sit in the county jail to the next day and they just let you out,
Or you just reach out of the cell and unlock the door yourself? I don't know.
yeah, like
Tell on 3, get out
I'm-
3.
on a serious
So-
note, I'm kind of confused because at first she was saying like black people really helped her while she was down and black people are different, but now that she's talking, she's saying the opposite.
No, I'm
No, I'm not
speaking.
saying the opposite.
No, I'm speaking more so about the negative people that she's not. The people that I'm talking about, those aren't the ones that she's talked about that have helped her out and lifted her
okay,
up and things like that. No, we like I said, we've hopscotched all over this situation. She's got a hell of a story. When you hear it without being chopped up or just kind of coming in like this, and this is why we just got into this whole scenario of, because I'd really want to see him get with some family that does look like him, that will show him real black man life.
Right.
He can't, and all due respect to his Native American friends who he's going to have in Montana, obviously, his Hispanic friends who he's going to have in Montana, obviously, and white friends. I don't believe the black people that are in Billings or the surrounding areas of Montana is really what your son needs. I mean, for him to end up possibly being who he sounds like he's really on his way to being. He's not them, and I think he might just be stuck by zip code right now. But maybe if he does make it to Atlanta, and he comes down there with you and he can see some different things. Now, there's some certain elements we don't want him to get hooked up in Atlanta either. But
Right.
there's they kind of
Like
wild
the
down there
drug
in Atlanta. We need
scene
him.
and all that type of shit. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I don't want to see him dressed like Lil Nas in 6 months either. So it is what
Oh
it is.
God, me either.
It is what it is. But so Karan just came on like right at the beginning. So do you know who Karan is, Carlinda?
No,
So
this is my first time meeting him and stuff.
oh, okay. So I'm just gonna like jump right to today. He's an author. So the name that he's under, Woke Seed, that's the name of the book. Is it technically your first book you wrote, or you
Yeah.
have other books? But okay.
That's the first.
So
You're an
Woke
author.
Seed.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold up. You're an author?
Yes, ma'am.
I am in the process of writing a book, believe it or not.
Why wouldn't I believe it?
I don't know.
She said, I don't know.
See, that's the lack of
that's-
confidence you have. That's a lack of confidence you have. What you've given off no energy to make him not believe that you'd be an author. You're about to get a
Yeah, I'm working
PhD.
on that.
You're working on a PhD. You can't work on a book.
Yeah, I'm trying to do both.
Okay. Well, get the PhD first. Your book will definitely sell better with a PhD behind it.
Well, and that's what a friend of mine said too. They said I need to stay laser focused on my PhD first.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's not you don't want to come up short of the finish line on the
Right.
PhD, but if you do on the
No.
book, most people might not know. Yeah. So get your
Okay.
get your PhD. But Quran is an award-winning author. His book is in over 30 countries, and most people don't even know.
Oh
His
my
book is
God.
his book is a children's book, and it's 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 something that adults can read and learn from, just like a child. A child's going to have to really ingest the information. An adult can pick up things a lot quicker with reading the book, and I've liked reading it with my grandson and kind of breaking some things down to him. And he reads it to me, and then if he doesn't understand something, then he can tell me. I can tell him what the situation is, or give him my. But you would have never thought that this person would be writing books, Carlinda, just like most people wouldn't think that you'd be going for your PhD.
Right.
And I know some of the things that when Quran was asking, because we know we're magnificent people. I mean, I already said 2022, I ain't holding them up. I'm not dumbing down shit anymore. I'm not giving in to shit anymore. Motherfucker, I'm great. And I know I'm great.
Yeah, you
So I'm
guys
gonna
are.
I'm gonna speak that shit whenever I need to speak it. But Quran is doing that now. I think you're doing that now, Carlinda, and striving to get your PhD. But, you know, how many times were you cut off, Quran? I mean, you've had, because shit, in 35 years, and happy belated birthday. Your birthday was Monday. I know
Yep,
I
the
said happy
27th.
birthday,
Well,
but
happy birthday, Kron.
we weren't on, so it's happy birthday now. Um, some of the things that you've gone through, how many times would you say that you've met like that dead end well before woke C, like, at 35,
A
and
lot.
in
A
your
lot.
trials?
Uh, yeah, a ton. Yeah, a whole lot. But my perception on this changed. I look at it a lot of times we think we're hitting a brick wall, but it's part of the process of getting where I'm at now, and then it's things I'm dealing with now that's gonna surpass, and it's developing me for the next phase.
Right.
So it's all inclusive. So I kind of expect the storms now,
Okay.
and like when the storms come now, I know the sun gonna come back out.
Right.
It has to. And so I kind of embrace the storms now. So I kind of don't look at nothing really as a negative or a positive anymore. It just is. But we do deal with, in
I
35
like
years,
that.
yeah, 35 years I've dealt, with a lot of letdowns from people from me expecting
Hmm.
because I would do something. So I'm seeing it from my perception
Right.
that I would do that.
Right.
And when people don't, it lets us down and it kind of shuts doors on us sometime. And, but I love it all now. I learned to love it all. I learned to love the struggles and everything because that's what it takes.
Yeah.
It's like when you go into the weight room, you're going to be sore as hell that first few weeks. And then you keep going, and eventually you can't wait to go because you can't
Right.
wait. The progress is coming. Now you lifting more, you running more on the treadmill. And so that's how I look at life. It's you gotta go through the pain just to
Right.
get where you trying to go. So I appreciate it all. I think politics and everything I went through prepared me perfectly for now. Perfectly, like
Right.
it couldn't have been no better. Everything I went through, it was meant to go through to give
You
me
you
what I got going on now.
you
And
have
you
to
know
have.
what? And you bring up a point, Kron, because everything I went through in my life, I was meant to go through. And I was born to make a impact on people's lives, and I mean, however, it went, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely
And
agree.
now I'm, on the other side of it, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's gonna be more struggles. Once you
Right,
get your PhD, it's gonna be something else that come into play that you gotta hurdle over that, and I guess it's just the process of life. We gonna, until we transition out of here.
right.
Uh,
You know,
One of the things that I've noticed um, with our people, with well, let's say
right,
Americans,
okay.
we take accomplishment or accomplishments too differently than non-Americans. I'm not going to say the bad thing to accept an accomplishment, to celebrate this, that, and the other, but sometimes we're not done. We'll accomplish something and we won't be done. Whereas people that come over here from other countries, you ever notice that they don't settle or celebrate at like minor accomplishments? Like for an immigrant to come over to go to school, they don't come over here to get their bachelor's degree. They come over to be doctors and shit. They come over to
Can,
get master's degrees to become captains of industry.
can I give
They
you a
don't come
perfect
over.
example of what you're
Go ahead.
saying, big homie? I clean, and so
Yeah.
last summer I met a guy, real big house out in Bloomfield Hills. So you know how them houses is. Um, Cleaning the house, great guy, and he's from India, which was the funny thing about it. He said, we talking, and he's just so inspired by everything I have to say. And he said, Karan, do you know I haven't took a break? I haven't. He said, you can ask my wife when she get here. I haven't took a day off Monday through Sunday in 7 years. So that let me know the thoughts we be having on making it is to get the house and kick our feet up. He has the big house, the cars, the boat. He got an indoor pool, outdoor pool, everything you can think of. But he, like you said, his perception on accomplishments, he's not
Right.
sitting and looking at the trophies.
Right.
It's lifestyle for him. He just can't
right,
stop. And he's accomplishing more and more and more and more until he leave, until his
Right.
body physically just can't go no more. So I understand what you're saying with that. I got to
I
witness that firsthand.
I've just I've grown so tired of seeing people settle. And like I said, I'm not downing anybody's accomplishments, what they even deem as the apex. But when I see people that I know can do more, and this is what I'm peeling back from a lot too. I learned long ago everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur, business owner, this, that, and the other. You need workers. A brother told me that. He was like, look, you can't help everybody become a business owner because everybody doesn't want to own a business. And frankly, if everybody owned a business, then who's going to
Full
be the
work.
customers? And he gave me some he gave me some insight onto some stuff after that. But my big thing now is I just don't like seeing people sell themselves short. And we do that with the comfort of a good job, you know. I mean, and we do that with degrees. I mean, some people have degrees and they think that's supposed to just carry them through. I know people that have worked 30 years, never in the field that they had the degree in, and they were totally happy with it. Then there is those people that did everything they could to stay in that field that they graduated in, and they have miserable lives.
Yeah,
They have miserable lives because they obviously didn't go with the flow. They just went with the regimen that had been set forth, and they never deviated from it. And they had miserable lives. They lived miserable lives.
yeah,
Probably were other opportunities they bypassed, but because they said, I'm gonna stay on this path. I went to school, I got this degree, this is what I'm gonna do, and they never deviated from it. They lived miserable lives.
Right.
I
And
noticed.
see that, but see, the thing is that's not me. I mean, if I see an opportunity that is better, and than what I'm doing at that current moment, PhD or not, I mean, I'm gonna go for what's logical and what's sensible.
Okay,
I
but have you
'Cause
always thought that way?
no,
So what made you think that way now?
from experience.
No, fuck all that. That's the easy way out. What made you turn the switch and say, you know what? I ain't doing it this way no more. I'm doing it that way.
Because
Might
I'm
have been an experience, but it was something. It was some type of experience. So that's what I'm looking for.
okay. So okay, a friend of mine, she went out and she got her PhD degree and all this other stuff, whatever, and she had a really killer offer, without the field that she was in, and so she stayed in the field that she was in, and she was miserable, like you said. And so
So
I'm like, damn, I'm not gonna be like that,
so it was somebody else's experience, somebody else's bad experience that led you to change your mind, not so much you having a bad experience that changed your situation. You saw somebody else erode and you didn't want that same thing to happen to you.
Right. And
I
I
can dig
still
that.
don't.
I was looking for something a little bit more exciting for the ratings. This is ratings period. Come on now, Carlinda. I need a good ratings.
But
No.
one thing I was gonna say. Can
but
I say
see, the
something?
thing is I'm I'm an open person, and I remain open to all things.
Sure, sure. Go ahead, Karan.
I'm not one
Oh,
closed-minded, rigid. You know,
What I notice about Americans with success is we wear titles. We let
right,
the titles speak first. For example, I remember when I first got in politics, we're down at the African American Leadership Awards at the state level, and I'm not gonna out the lady, but she was one of the first black mayors or something like that from Lantrum Village.
mm,
And out of everybody I met, she was the only one who I'm mayor, such and such. And somebody pulled me to the side and they said, do you see how dumb she sounded compared to everybody else? She said, you're Karan Gaines. And then when the conversation comes up, you're a commissioner. But you never speak and introduce yourself with your title. Your Quran first. And I learned something from that. And I said, wow. Because she really did look dumb. She's like,
mm.
yeah. And then when she introduced herself, she pointed at her name tag because it said Mayor such and such. She's like, yeah, I'm Mayor such and such. And it was just like, that's corny. But a
it
lot of
is.
Americans, we wear the degree, the title,
Mhm.
and that's our end all be all. Because a lot of times we do a lot of things that's trendy or for the perception and approval of others, whether it's the
Mhm.
Right.
community, your family. A lot of people are doctors because their parents was doctors and it's
Right,
expected of them.
right.
But really, they're a graphic designer at heart, and
Mhm.
that's what they really wanted to do. And so,
Right.
with a lot of Americans, it's just a lot of illusions that goes on. It's a lot
I work,
of
yeah. I worked for a baker who had a medical degree. He was a baker. He was literally had his own bakery and everything, but his dad was a dentist, his mother was a doctor. He went to med school, but ended up running a bakery because he
wow,
was a baker at heart. He wanted to be
right.
a culinary, but he went to medical school just to please them
Wasted all that money in years.
and ended up being a baker because that was just where his heart was.
Uh,
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not. But you have some people who's connected or close to his family that deem him as not as successful.
Mhm.
Right.
You know.
Well, in that retrospect, I can see where you're coming from. I can see that.
Yeah. But what I just want us to get to the point where we've maxed out everything before we start feeling like we are so accomplished. And this happens, Karan and I can understand this on an ethnic side. We get people that they get a couple nickels to rub together and they want to go out and do things that are going to be impressive in the neighborhood.
That's our whole culture, especially growing up in the hoods. You see cats with Gucci belts that cost more than they rent. Gucci
Yeah.
shoes that cost more and don't even have rent. Some of them don't even have a place to rent or don't own a
Or
car.
they drive caddies or
But
Mercedes and they can't really afford it.
Yeah. And so I knew a few cats who pulling up in $70,000 cars, $90,000 cars, the low income housing. And the house they pulling up to, they don't even their name ain't even on the lease. So they don't even have a house,
wow.
car. And so it's in the communities we grow up in, it's all we want to look rich but not live it. And what I learned from that guy, the Indian guy, was he lives rich. And living rich is getting off your butt every day and steady creating and steady working and steady moving. It's not kicking your feet up. We
Right.
have this illusion in our minds because we're so at the bottom. We really don't know what the lifestyle of the top. Everything is for
And
show.
and
It's a show.
and getting just a little bit makes us feel that good to where we feel like we've made it in some aspect. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, but it's like, do you realize what you make if you do this every single day?
Right.
Don't just do it the one time and hit that lick. Do it every single day, every single day. And I mean, and if it's good duplication, I'm not telling somebody to be, to duplicate negative shit. But if you got something going good, why would you stop it?
Right.
Because you feel like you've made it. I mean, and until we get to that side to where we can go to sleep and we wake up and we have more money than we had before we went to sleep, we haven't made shit.
Right. We are.
Because if your net worth does not go up when you're sleeping, you still need to go to work.
And another thing, big homie, is we in our communities we don't really get the concept of money. We thinking working so hard and ripping and running in the streets to flip one and the two. No, the money is supposed to work for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's really the money damn near supposed to be chasing you. Like you said, when you sleep, you wake up knowing while I was asleep, I was making more money.
Hey.
I don't even have to be at a place for me to accumulate money. And then what we got the internet now is really no excuse,
Right. Right.
because you can upload something on the internet and sell it all across the globe. You don't have to be there. You don't have to, so things is changing, but if we're not changing with the time and we're already behind, it's scary. It can get scary.
So maybe we need to talk on that. I think that needs to
Well,
be a cast.
the thing is my the thing is that
I'll bring that back.
Americans, it seems like Americans, live beyond their means. You know what I mean?
Oh, we've been well but that's all been a conditioning of being an American. We live in excess. We live in excess, and people are trained to live in excess. And unfortunately, we've learned to live in excess, even though we don't have it. Even though we don't have it, we still have been taught, and then we've retrained ourselves. Because see, I don't continually blame white people for training us to be bad spenders, because I know that happened generations ago when integration set in and we were allowed now to shop in white stores and eat in white restaurants and go to white movie theaters. When we were able to do those things in the schools, when integration set in, that was our opportunity to retrain ourselves to be on code and still support each other as business people. But we
Right.
took the other end. We took the other end. We said, "Oh shit, we can go over here and eat now. Let's go do that, and let's leave this business that's been feeding us for years
Right.
to starve out."
Yeah, that came with that Martin Luther King dream.
Oh, absolutely. King's dream became the nightmare because he was like, "Oh shit, I literally just burned down all these black businesses by trying to get us to the other side."
Right.
And we got to the other side and we left all those people who, I mean, hell, when we were boycotting buses, there were black bus companies.
I swear to God, I was by Dick Gregory. I seen an interview when he was talking about that, and he was saying, "Why was Rosa Parks and everybody fighting and so big to sit in the front seat when we had our own bus company?"
We had our own buses. So I look at a lot of this, like I said, I can blame the original, the OG separatists and white supremacists. I can blame them, but I can't blame, because we've retrained ourselves to do this to each other, to our own, our own businesses and things like that. So there's a lot of responsibility that we have to take and put and place it on ourselves when we don't take care of our own businesses and things like that in our own neighborhoods.
You know,
Um,
you know what it's called? It's called self-sabotage.
sure, but
Mm.
everybody, but most people just call that everyday living. They
Right.
don't realize they're sabotaging themselves
Right.
long term by doing what they're doing. I
Right.
get it. I totally get it. But see, I'm like this even in the neighborhoods where the businesses aren't black owned. Like as far as I know, right, Karan, Washtenaw County, we don't have a black owned liquor store, right?
We got one Apple Ridge.
Okay, well, Apple Ridge. Well, they don't have
Yeah.
slices over there. So I go to Maria's to get slices. But when I'm on Ridge, I go to, and wait a minute. Do the Curry still own that store? Or do they sell it?
That's a good question.
I heard that they sold it, but I don't know. So I know where you're at because I know the family. And okay, so we'll solidify that. But I go to a liquor store that makes like really really good pizza, and I support. I don't buy liquor a lot, but when I do buy liquor, that's all based on proximity. I don't buy liquor at a certain liquor store, but I go to this one place and I buy pizza. And I've bought pizza at this liquor store probably for 20 years. It's not that other places don't sell pizza, but it's a neighborhood thing. You try to support the businesses in there. And I've tried to support other businesses that were black owned in that same corridor, not always the most upstanding businesses. And I stopped doing business with them. But my daughters used to get their hair braided at the other end of the thing. I mean, we always tried to localize it. We always tried to keep it right. But I don't care if you're a black business. If you don't do business the right way, I ain't shopping with you. I'm not spending my money with you if you're not doing business the right way. I try to do business with mine first, but I knew Tyrone and knew Ed, rest in peace. And I shopped at their liquor store, for those particular reasons. But if you don't do business the right way, I don't care who you are, and where I was going with that, was really taking care of one another. We let all that go with civil rights movement, integration, all kinds of shit. We let all that go. Switching from the way we voted to, mass voting of being a Democrat, we let all that go. We felt like we had arrived, like we were now being accepted, and it was a trap.
Right.
It was a flat out trap.
Because this is my take on it, big homie. With the Martin Luther King dream, I get where he was going with it, but in order to be at the round table together, you have to bring certain things to the table. You can't just integrate with people who know about credit and taxes and money and how money really work, and we don't, and we saying, oh, we just want to be with everybody else. So even when we got to integrating, we were the consumers when we got to the table. We wasn't coming to the table with nothing to negotiate or trade. We just were able to, like you said, come in the stores now, come in the restaurants now, and spend our money. That wasn't sitting at the table.
Right.
So we have to get us together as a community first before we get to really integrating. And we're sitting at the table because we already integrated. But
I got
really,
two tasks. Just out of this conversation, we want to talk about money, and we want to talk about cash. Because see, a lot of people won't know the difference until we break it down for them. Because you now know the difference between money and cash.
correct.
You've had cash in your life.
Right.
You've had cash. You've had thousands of dollars run through your fingers. That's cash.
Right.
Now you're setting yourself up with your books and your other things that you're doing to make money. And you can do things with money.
Right.
But you can only do so much with cash.
Right.
They print cash like it's nothing. It's paper with no value.
Right. The more
Really,
they,
debt. It tells you
just
on there that it's debt.
It's just like liquid, It's just like liquid slipping through your fingers,
they
That's
can
what
print
cash
so
is.
much money now. It's not going to mean anything as long as they can keep putting it into play. It's what happens
The
once
cash,
they stop printing it. What do you have?
the cash is the newest trick to keep us broke.
Yeah.
And that's why you look, they gave so much out in the pandemic. You look at the rap videos now, from the local artists to mainstream, you can't tell who got more money now. Everybody got jewelry. Everybody got big old stacks of money on their shoulder with money phones. You can't tell the difference now.
Right.
So that's the biggest trick versus learning about credit and how stocks work and deeds, and I mean those type of that language. One thing I learned in our community is you look at the black man. In his mind, he thinks working so hard is gonna get him to where he going. When you look at the other cultures, they know how to work the bank because they deal with money. We're chasing the cash. And so what I mean is you will see a family, whether it's an Arabic family, Indian, or whatever, that man has took out so many loans. He got so many grants. He's got so much free money that makes you think he's smarter than you and he's doing something that you just can't seem to do. And so while we're steady chasing the money, we're chasing it, they understand how it works. They know how to go to the bank and ask for certain things to just get. And so they living a lifestyle that's just so relaxed. They providing for their family. They the macho of their family. They the head. And then you got the black man who's just the baby daddy, who's chasing the dollar. He's going to work, or he's hustling in the streets. Or even if he's going to college, if you still don't have a real sense of money, you just gonna have another piece of paper on your cabinet.
That degree has to be thousands. It's got to be worth thousands for a lot of people to even go for it. Because if they're already making a ridiculous amount of money, they've got to say, to go to that next step, I've got to make at least another 50 to 100,000 to even do this, because it's not going to be worth it for them to put in all this work and then to go get a $15,000 raise. It's not enough money. just like the big house that he had. That's a beautiful house. His kids sleep well. He sleeps well. He sleeps well with his wife in that house. But that house, I guarantee you, that house has leverage somewhere with a bank.
He got so much and then on top of that, he's steady working Monday through Sunday.
So the bank knows.
He said,
The
"Well,
bank
my
knows they're
wife,
gonna get their money back because
right,
he's been relentless. They've got this property that he's not going to lose.
yeah,
So that's just collateral on another business loan, on another loan, on another this, another that. He can use that. And little does anybody know who, like I said, they sleep there, they eat there, they play there. Their whole future is forged into that house because he's taking the chance.
yeah."
He's taking a chance on his skill set. He's taking a chance, but he's taking a chance to get to that next level. He ain't sitting there struggling and worrying about whether he gonna pay his student loans or not.
Right. You know how I do see us somewhat growing. I watched the interview with the rapper Little Baby, and they was asking him about the cars he got, the jewelry.
Which one, man? Is he the dark one or the lighter one?
He's the one with the braids.
They
He
both
kinda
got the braids now, don't they?
You're right. The Baby is the more fast rapping one. Little Baby kind of sings raps. The one who is bigger than Black and White, it's a problem with the whole way of life, can't change overnight. I figured
Those are lyrics. I don't know them.
Okay, well, anyway, in the interview,
who met with Kamala Harris? Who met with Kamala?
Little Baby.
Little Baby. Okay, now you go. I got it.
So in the interview, this really impressed me about him. So they asking him about his cars and his jewelry. He like, I got this much million in jewelry, this many million in cars. I bought my mama house, baby mama house, cash. They own it. All we gotta do is pay taxes on it. He said, but this the thing about me. I can rebuy everything in 2 shows. I get so much per show. Everything I own, I can rebuy it just by doing 2 shows. I said to myself, he get it. He's around the right people. He's ahead of the bag. Everything you see that you're glorifying, he can pay for again in 2 shows.
Which means he can afford to lose it.
He can afford to lose it. He can afford to lose it. That's leverage. He got he can breathe. A lot of us can't breathe. We've never had the experience on really as a man, Black man in America, on really breathing. It's always a come up. It's always a struggle. It's always a robbing Peter to pay Paul, or I'm going to get this later. And I can't wait to get to the point with my children to where, Monday ain't a question. Right. It's just a click of a button.
Right.
It ain't no, Monday I got you. I'm going to get it. I'm going to keep my word and I'm going to do it. But it steps to it. Went from couldn't do it at all to now it's, I can on Monday or next week. It got to be to a point to where they already got it.
Right.
I set it up to where they already have it in their account to where they don't have to keep asking daddy over and over for money. No, we set up your own business and you a part of my businesses on paper to where you constantly making money while we all sleep. We all waking up with more money.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it. And so I don't spend nothing years ago, the things I wanted, I don't want now.
Right.
No, I just really don't.
Me either. The things I wanted when I was younger was rocks on every finger and everything. Well, I don't care about all that no more, the older I'm getting, the more simplistic I want things to be.
That's growth. That's growth and figuring out what is the most important thing to you. Obviously, we've talked about fatherhood a lot, Karan, but our lives changed once we had kids. We didn't become saints, but once we had kids, once our first child was born, our lives changed. And each child after that, you change that much more. Do you become perfect? Absolutely not. Do you stop messing up, fucking up, whatever you want to call it? No. But if you have in your mind that, okay, I want to do right by these kids, there's always got to be some planning going on. And that's what I don't like seeing now. There's not a lot of planning with a lot of these youngins out here.
Right.
They're just there's literally, I mean, I see youngins having babies. Like, don't you realize that's about to be a human being?
Right.
Like a real live, like, you know,
That's
human being.
that's dependent on you. You know,
You know.
I don't understand with some cats in our community. How can you let somebody down every day?
Every day.
You get up every single day and you letting somebody down. And I know cats that live in Ipsy, their kids live in Ipsy. I mean, walking distance, and they haven't seen them in 3 years, 3 months, 6 months. That's crazy to me.
How do you even do that? I see motherfuckers I don't want to see.
Right.
How do you not see your children and you live in the same city?
The same city. But they make it to every concert, every
Wow.
football game and party, and it's crazy. It's crazy to me.
I don't even know how that's even still fashionable, and why people won't just call people out like right on the goddamn post. Like,
Right.
you got that suit on, that hat on, this, that, and the other, but your son hasn't seen you in 2 years.
You know what it is, big homie? The men gotta call the man out. See, when the woman call the man out, she either looks bitter a little bit. It could be iffy. But when your homeboy call you out, it's a different ball game. And so
True.
the men still sharpen steel. Iron don't sharpen steel. So a man gotta check a man. A woman need to be checked by the women. I think it's a lot harder for the women to check the women because a lot of women didn't have dad. They only had their mom. And if mom was bitter with men, like we talked about last time, it rubs off on the daughter. That's all she heard her whole life growing up. So it's hard for the women to check the women because the moms today's time is friends with the daughter. It's not a parenting thing.
Oh yeah, they buddies. Buddies.
My home girl, and it's these niggas ain't shit together. You know, and so
I don't even get that. I'm like, how do you put that in your daughter's head, and you don't think she's not gonna go out and find that exact motherfucker?
Right.
She's gonna find the motherfucker that ain't shit because you just gave her the blueprint to who he is.
Right. And so I really think the men got to start checking the men. You know,
well,
me and my homeboys, we don't have those issues, but I know for sure if I don't bring up my kids or the conversations we have is always about our kids. It's always some man shit. It's always venting. We always venting with each other. So it's hard not to. If I was to not be in my kid's life for just a little bit, my homeboys would check me.
Yeah, I don't even understand a man that. Well, I understand because I understand the selfishness, but the men that actually are around, and like I said, your homeboys, they would check you if they knew that was happening. But there's other men, they tend to flock together. One thing that I've learned is a lot of deadbeats tend to flock together.
Yeah.
And they tend to like be that same type of individual that it's usually the shit that don't matter. It's the clothes.
It's basically the same game, different name.
Sure. Yeah. But it's so nuts to me that is still an acceptable thing out here for most people. I just like, do you have to hang around them? Do you got to be around them? I mean, because see, I don't need to hang around people like that.
Right.
If I know that that's your game, if you know, because we're old enough now, a lot of these people's kids are grown. So I see their kids, hell, like, what am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to hold you up knowing that you ain't seen your kid? Or am I supposed to say good things? No, I just don't say shit to you. I'm not gonna say anything, so I won't have a reason to be loyal to you, because when I see this kid, and some of these kids actually ask me shit about their parents, whether it be a mother and a father. I'm putting it all on fathers. We're both kind of putting it on dads, but there's some fucked up mamas out here too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
there
is.
is,
And I,
So
and for my point of my from my life is I chose the game than I did my son. So I didn't raise my son. My parents raised my son. You
mm,
know, and I gave him guardianship of him. And stuff. But I mean, there's deadbeat moms too. And I was
yeah.
a deadbeat mom.
Well,
And that's just being straight up honest with
at
you guys,
least,
man.
at least you can say that. But now I'm sure you have a relationship with your son now, and maybe you
Yeah, I
did what was
do.
best at that time, you know. But for you to be able to admit that is amazing. I tell, I tell a lot of women in my generation, and I say to them, the ones who in the household with their kids, they have this excuse of I'm doing it on my own. And I get it, but you still have to have a standard. The women in my generation think just because they've been doing it on their own, they can lack so many things. And it's like, no, you're still not doing a good job doing it on your own. You know,
Right.
that's the number one excuse. I'm doing it on my own, though. I've been doing it on my own. Yeah, but you suck at it.
you're not very good at it. You got to
Yeah,
stop.
right. You need
You got to
to,
stop.
And
You're
see,
doing a
and see
bad job.
if I
yeah.
did it on my own, my son would end up to be, you know, uh, end up in the foster care system and the whole bit. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah, but
knew that
you
then.
another thing, I'm not sugarcoating it for you, but you came up in a different time. The resources they have now and the accessibility to everything that's now is totally different than when you was coming up. The way we treated
Yeah.
women then during your time was completely different. The way they could just get away with rape back in those days and abuse of abusing a woman, it was totally different than the time we live in now. So I'm not giving you
Right.
a out or an excuse, but it was still different. I it's so funny because you remind me of my mom in a sense. My mom was always in my life,
Really?
so I'm not comparing your story to my mom, but just some of
Right.
your gestures and face expressions and things. My mom was a lighter skinned woman, and so it's pretty crazy to me. But in my generation now, I look at everything. There is no excuses because we
How old
saw
are you,
so
Kron?
35.
35. I'm 49.
Okay, my mom would have
So I did
been
grow up in a different.
57 or 58ish or somewhere around there if she was still alive. So you're not too far from her age. But like I was saying, in my generation, from what I saw growing up to now, me being born in '86, I got to see a little bit of the '80s, all the '90s, 2000s, up all the way up until today. There is no excuses no more. During y'all eras, it was a lot of things. Like for example, what I mean by my father. I only met him so many times, but I don't hate him. I really love that man. I look forward to talking to him. Every time I talk to him, I give him the utmost respect. I call him dad. Even times he want to bring up son, I knew I wasn't there for you. Man, I don't want to hear that.
Right.
What game coming on today? I
Right.
need you now, today because when I look at the time he came up in, and when crack hit and so many other
Right.
things that hit the way it hit during
And
those times.
see, the thing is that I'm a, you know, so I've been clean and sober from all mine and moved out drinking chemicals for 14 years.
Congrats.
And so when I was 15, I became an IV drug user. So yeah, I get it.
My mom, she told us the realest stuff one day when she was alive. She said, son, do you know I've been getting high, smoking weed, cigarettes, drinking since 7 years old? And
Damn.
when I thought about that, I said, wow. So from 7 all the way up to 50, you've been smoking cigarettes. You've been smoking weed. So at what point she only had so many periods in her life where she was sober and had a clear mind. So she never got a full chance to really know herself or reach even
Right.
a quarter of her potential. But that's the era you guys came up in. Everybody couldn't shake the crack era and the heroin and pimping, human trafficking, and just the list goes on. Although things go on now, but the way it hit back in those days, what I mean by that, in today's time, we have the internet. If you never
Right.
experienced something, you can type it in and they will show you. If you never seen somebody get killed, go on YouTube, type in somebody getting their brains blew out there, and a whole bunch of videos will pop up. If you want to type in the effects of
Right.
drugs, everything is accessible. So there is no excuse. And then for people of my age, we seen, like I said, the end of the 80s, the whole 90s, the when the internet came, we got to see all of that. So we don't have an excuse to make certain mistakes you guys made. You guys really made mistakes off of life. People make mistakes now off of being dumb. When crack hit, they
Right.
didn't know if I hit this one time, I'm gonna be hooked. You see what I'm saying? So it's just
Well,
different.
that's what happened to me when I was 14, because I was recruited into sex trafficking ring, when I was 14 by a much older guy, you know what I mean? And so, the first night that we were together, he took me to a party and we got all cracked up, you know what I'm saying? And then from that point on, I knew that I loved it. And
Yeah.
You love
then
So
crack?
it and then after that, then it was like, well, let me try heroin, and I did that, and I did, cocaine, slammed up cocaine and everything, and so, and I went up to crystal meth, at my bottom, and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I lived that way for 21 years, you know what I'm saying? And till the day of divine intervention happened,
think about this.
and
You about to
I
get your
mean, I'm grateful that I'm where I'm at now.
That's what I was gonna say. You about to get your PhD. And just the thought of what if you didn't have those 21 years took from you? You still about to get your PhD. You still passed up so many people after taking off 21 years of your life and still about to get a PhD. It's people who've been sober who still ain't gonna get that. So
Right.
just all
Well,
you overcame.
but people that are sober, that people like me, that that was a drug addict, and you take a, fine fine you take a menace to society and make them into great great citizens of society, like they did me, like I did myself, you know it's like you know um you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what you're saying. I'm
And
following
so,
you.
I mean, there is really no excuse, because there's different resources that wasn't there for people like me and people like Brother Shannon, and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's the
There's
time.
resources, different resources that your generation has that our generation didn't have.
And that's why I
You
don't
know what I'm
understand.
saying?
We have young cats that I
So you're
know.
right. There is no excuse. I mean, there really isn't, because you guys, what do you mean? Y'all have a bunch of resources and you're not using them,
Right. And I know a
You
few
just
cats
rather
that's
sit on your ass and take a consolation prize, which is welfare or whatever, you're
Yeah.
collecting, and you know what I mean. I mean, you don't want to. It has to come within.
Yeah, I'm a very empathetic person, very sensitive, but I know a few guys my age that do crack and heroin, and I have no sympathy for them because I look at them and say, nigga, out of all the examples we seen this shit do to us or can do to you, you tried this shit? I
I
don't
don't
have
even get it, dude. When when I when I hear people like, I mean, I know that there's people that have been addicted, and they've tried to kick it, and they said the shit's rough. I mean, we do know people that have kicked it and whatever, but when I see people like that are like this century or even this decade, well, now it's a new decade, right?
right.
So if you're in the 21st century and you're now starting to dabble with drugs and shit, you got to be one of the dumbest motherfuckers ever.
It's a choice now. It
It's a
wasn't a
choice now.
for a
See,
lot of people.
But
I
see, it
came up
wasn't a choice for me. You know what I mean?
for many people though. For many people, Carletti, you're not unique in that situation. No, it was not a choice for many people, but the recovery. I have to respect anybody that goes through full recovery and makes it on the other side. But I'm talking about people that have literally seen it riddle somebody right next to them. I mean, in their gene pool, in their friendship pool, in whatever, they've seen somebody go through that shit and they still fucking go try drugs. I have no sympathy for your motherfucking ass.
Right,
None.
right,
Right.
right,
I don't
right.
care how strong it is, this, that, and the other. You've seen somebody go all the way down, possibly lose their life to the shit, and you decide you want to go down that road? No sympathy at all.
Me either, because it's stupid. It's stuck on stupid. And I mean, it almost wiped me out. I mean, I was basically dead in every way except physically. You know what I mean? I was
Sure.
dead emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, every which way. But physically, and that was being, I mean, I sobered up being 87 pounds, wearing size double zeros, and everything. And, I mean, I I looked horrible, you know what I mean? And so, it took the jail a month and a half to detox me, and it's pretty doggone bad when you can't even go in your own cell because they need to monitor your ass. And they
Right.
pulled out a day bed and a day room for me. You know what I mean? And so that the guards could monitor me, and I almost died twice trying to get sober.
Mm.
And
I
so
see,
now it's like I just don't have any sympathy for anybody that wants to go down that route. I mean, that's a choice.
I see you gotta
I
go,
didn't
big
have a
homie.
choice. I didn't have a choice. Back then, because see what guys like that do is they get their girls strung out on dope and whatever, and then they have control over him because then she won't leave because she doesn't dare leave because she doesn't know where to get her dope from.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
I see.
So I
Yeah.
really didn't have a choice. But then, at the end, my three options were this: locked up, covered up, or sobered up. I was already locked up, so sobered up or covered up. What was I gonna choose? And I chose to be sober, and stuff. And I got my GED. I got like 3 years of college, in the federal pen, and stuff. And then when I got released, I went went back to school and for a year and got my bachelor's degree. After I got my bachelor's degree, I waited for about a year, give it about a year, year and a half, something like that. and then I went in and got my um I enrolled to get my PhD degree because there was two ways I could go about it: get my master's degree and then do my PhD degree. But if you do 5 years straight of college, and internship, then you can get a PhD. So I did it the short route,
Mm.
Oh,
and it's like, I just don't have any sympathy for people that want to go out and fuck up their lives. I mean, drugs fuck you up, man, and they touch people that but see, I used to be mad at them, right? I used to be mad at the whole thing, right? And you know I was on Facebook one day and they were talking about drug addiction, and those memes that they have, you know
yeah.
where and there was a girl there, and it said we weren't friends, we weren't enemies, we're just strangers with memories. Well,
Mm.
how fucking true was that? Because we didn't know each other except for the drugs, and so, how could we be friends, and how could we be enemies? We're just strangers with memories is all. And it made so much sense to me, and so I changed that around, you know what I mean? I mean, none of them out there, you know, really wanted me to die, I'm sure. But, I mean, once you're in that environment and in that situation and stuff, you're not thinking straight, because you know what I mean?
I understand. Definitely. That was deep. We're just
And
strangers with
so,
memory.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just don't have any sympathy for people that see people go down and then they want to go down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my son, he's kind of starting on my path, the path I took, and I've talked to him, I've given him, everything
What
that
path
I
is
can
that?
have.
What
But
path is that? I want to be clear.
what?
What path is your son going down now?
Well, he's doing cocaine.
So, don't you think that it's time for you to tell him he needs to come to Georgia?
Well, yeah, I have, and he said he wanted to.
But he's got to want to walk away from those vices.
Right. And that's what I told him. I says you better be honest with yourself and walk away from all devices, because I says I'm not having that shit down here.
Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly what side of it he's into, but I can tell you what: if he goes to jail to be a doped up, to be a
He
to be a
already
doped
been to
up, yeah.
jail, Shannon. And my dad
Okay.
bonded him out.
What's
And
he?
me and
What's
my
he?
mom were
What
trying
did
to
he get
tell him
locked up
not
for?
to.
What did he get locked up for?
He got locked up for PMFA and holding somebody against their will, and and
Oh,
drugs.
so kidnapping,
No, not kidnapping.
holding somebody against their will is kidnapping.
Well, no, they said something else.
And,
It was
and
charged as something else.
yeah, well, that other Soul Train scramble board shit you're talking about too. That's domestic violence. They just put gloss PF, MLA, whatever. That's domestic on it. I don't know how that all works out, but let me explain something to you. He's fucking with dope, and he's already catching cases. This is some stupid shit that he's catching cases on. He goes to jail harming a woman or harming a child. they are going to fuck him every day.
Right.
You already know they don't like people that mess with women and children. Who's over there smoking on something good?
Who?
That's somebody smoking on something good?
No, I don't smoke.
Or is that just you coughing?
No, I was eating
No,
that.
it's
Yeah, eating something.
cigarettes.
Oh, you gave up. That's right. You gave it up, right?
Yeah, I ain't smoked in
I
17
smoke
days.
cigarettes, Shannon, not that shit. That shit
Oh,
never did me any good anyway. I mean, all I would do is have the munchies and want to go to bed. Oh, what kind of high is that? You know, I mean, I want to be up all hours of day, night, and whatever. You know,
all right. Yeah, that's a different type of thing.
that shit never
So
did.
you need to get your son, Carlinda. It's not going to be a good thing. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be a good thing. He's already catching little petty ass charges, and that's in Montana.
Well, he's got 2 felonies.
You better get your
He's got
son.
2 felonies. And you know,
Okay, well that's 2 chances. The way I look at that, that's 2 chances. Because each one of those felonies, he could have easily caught, you know, some bodily harm to himself.
right.
And he's not of his right mind because he's doing drugs.
Right.
So I don't know what type of influence you have over him, but we already know cocaine is its own influencer. And if that's where he wants to be, that's where he's going to be. But
Yeah, I really hope he get it together.
Well, I'm
You
gonna
know,
get
it is
him
what it
to
is.
get it together.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Karan, let's link up. Let's link up and get one. Let's get one in
Okay, I'll
tomorrow.
be available. Well, what time? I'll be available. Any.
I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
figure the time out. But I want to talk about a couple of things before we actually do it, because we touched on a couple of things here that I think we just need to simulcast it right through the Real Discussion page. We need to talk about some of these things because we're embarking on one of the greatest times in Black American history. It's tax time. And we got to talk about money and we got to talk about cash.
Right.
Because there's gonna be a lot of cash spent.
They
There's gonna be a lot of cash spent.
shit.
But we need to be talking about how people can make money during tax time for themselves. Don't just spend all that money.
Right.
Don't just spend all that cash. I'd love to see some people coming out of this year. And we've talked about it in years past, but it always gets by. I'd love to see somebody say, I took my tax money and put it down on a house.
Right.
I paid off this, I paid off that. But mostly all I see is Benihana pics and a whole bunch of restaurant and mall pics and shoes and clothes and shit.
The most people would do tax time is buy a bunch of new furniture for some shit for a house they don't own.
I don't get that. Why does everybody need to buy new furniture and a new big screen every goddamn tax time?
I
don't
know,
know if you
that
get
don't
it.
make sense to me.
Do they only make big screens to last for between tax seasons?
No.
People get a new big screen every goddamn year.
Yeah.
I know.
I've had
it's
the same-
ridiculous.
I've had the same used 50-inch TV for 6 years because the hit that people take on fucking TVs now is ridiculous. I don't give a fuck if you're buying it from Sam's Club. So you can go to the TV warehouse and get you a corner scratch for $500 off.
Right.
No damage, no nothing. Just got a little nicked in the box. I'll take that. And I'm talking about some good shit. I'm talking about a Sony, a Samsung, JVC. I ain't talking about no goddamn Ignite, whatever the motherfucking Insignia. fucking you get a goddamn 75-inch for $199. Sorry. That TV's gonna go out every year anyway, so I guess you're right.
Huh.
Go ahead and buy a new one. So, but I'm about to get out of here because my truck's up. My truck's cut off a second time, so I gotta hit the remote start again.
Hey, Kron,
And,
if you want to get a hold of me, is under Carlinda K. Lionsheart on Facebook.
Okay. Mine is under Quran Games. Or you could type in just Woke Seed, it'll connect you to my page. But it was a
Okay.
pleasure meeting you today. Pleasure hearing some of your story. Look forward to
Kron what? Gaines?
yep, GAINES.
Okay.
And
I'll type that in.
shout out to everybody who was commenting, and speaking and saying hi and everything. Hi to everybody. Thank you, big homie. Shout out to my girl. My girl just released her book today. Hello, Miss Lee on Amazon. And so
I just saw that.
Super.
Congratulations, Dana.
super proud of her. I'm releasing my next book February 1st, called Just Like You, and it's about Miss Universe out there in India who just won. So
Wow.
Cool.
Well, maybe I'll drop my news tomorrow because we're gonna have to talk about your new books. I talk about Dana's book. I'm gonna drop some news tomorrow. I probably won't be able to get him on. No, but I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it because we're gonna end up talking about it. I'll text you tomorrow about it, Karan.
okay.
Because he surprised me. My grandson. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So it kind of blew my mind. So I'm in that zone now. But Carlinda, you take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too.
Everybody on Habs Free, Shell, everybody else that checked in didn't say shit. Appreciate y'all too. Emmanuel, we'll get your question answered, Emmanuel.
See,
I don't believe it is. It says, is there a black-owned company that owns a famous black alcoholic beverage that you know of? I don't know of one.
me either.
I mean, I know that some of these musicians have liquor companies that they're a part
What's
of,
up, Dr. G?
but
My bad.
they don't own the distillery. They're just branded through these liquor companies.
They're
I don't
sponsored
know.
by them.
Yeah, they use their name, their likeness, to sell the product. I don't know anybody that owns their own start to finish manufacturing, distillery, winery, whatever. I think they're all just being used, and that's a generational wealth thing.
Right.
I mean, if we had generations and generations of farms to where we had grapes and shit, potatoes, whatever, we can make vodka, we can make wine, we can make whatever. I think that we'd be in different positions, but that's when you start talking about reparations and different stuff like that. It's not a check. It can be a check. It can't be a situation where they just give us money and we just go spin it back in. We've got to get land.
Right.
We've got to be able to reproduce on our land.
Right.
And I ain't talking about just having babies. I'm talking about reproduce all types
Right.
on our land. So until we learn that that's what we need to do to get by, because that's what everybody else has done to get by. See, that's what's not being taught. And hell, that's more critical race theories than all this other shit.
Right.
But if you had to sit black kids down and show them what their great grandparents and great 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 grandparents did to survive, they wouldn't believe you.
Right.
Because all we do now is just go to Kroger's and shit. We just walk through the produce and fruits and vegetables and shit like that, instead of going to the market or even maybe going to the farms and getting our stuff. We get it so quick,
Right.
and
We spoiled as hell.
Huh?
I said we spoiled as hell.
We spoiled, man. We spoiled. And I mean, shit. When we can go in and get something, I mean, I remember as a kid, and I think about it, I really only remember eating watermelon like one time a year. Now you can eat watermelon all year long
Right.
Right.
because they all this shit ain't being grown in the ground no more. It's just being grown in greenhouses and laboratories.
Right.
It's being grown. It's being grown hyper fast. And I'm sorry, but I've eaten them plenty of them. But I still want to know what's wrong with the goddamn watermelon that ain't got no seeds in it.
Right.
I know it's not. They say it's not the right thing, but it tastes
But
like
before
watermelon.
we get off,
But now I'm being told don't eat
tell me this if I'm wrong,
it.
real quick before we get off. They got this new thing with water now to where it's slushy. I don't remember water being slushy back in the day. I remember it was either real cold and it had that thin layer of ice at the top and then it's ready to freeze. Now it's slushy.
Right.
Or am
Yeah,
I tripping?
I saw that when I was walking in the supermarket the other day, and I'm like, what the hell is this shit, you know?
Yeah, that blew my mind. I'm like, we got slush water now?
So wait a minute. So it's just bottled water?
Put your bottle water
It's just in a
in the
bottle?
freezer and monitor it and to where almost it freezes. It's gonna be slush, like a slush.
Wait a minute. Okay, so that just happened. So it was like the second or third to last bottle of the case in the refrigerator. There was one bottle in there that was damn near frozen, but the other bottles weren't.
Yeah, that's correct.
So it
Yeah.
was like the second to last. So I was thinking maybe because it was in the back, but there were other bottles like on the side of the case, maybe like 3 or 4. But this was like the second to last bottle, and it was kind of, it wasn't frozen hard, but it was slushy up top, but the bottom part was still clear.
Right.
But no other bottle was frozen because I started to take them all out thinking they were freezing.
Mm,
But only one bottle was like that.
mm.
That's chemicals, ain't it?
Yeah.
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 So there's more than water in my water now.
Yeah.
And the water I'm drinking is supposed to be purified water, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on.
What is it, Shannon?
Yep. Gordon purified water.
It looks like purified water.
Well, it ain't shit in this one. I just got this empty bottle out of trash. But it says BPA free, 100% recyclable, purified water.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
I don't know.
We got
But it was just like one of these bottles, and the
A friend
top
of
part
mine,
of it
a friend
was
of
all
mine came
frosty.
with me.
It wasn't frozen hard.
We got slush water now. That's crazy.
You know?
That's
It is
crazy.
crazy, isn't it, Con?
But yeah, but I appreciate
Now I got to start looking at my water again.
Right.
now you got him paranoid about his water, Con. Good job. Congratulations.
I'm paranoid about everything, so it don't matter. I'm paranoid about everything.
Dr. G
What I'm not
said
paranoid
drink
about
Fiji.
is my chicken I'm about to eat when I go home.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get off and I'll talk to y'all later. Nice
Yeah.
meeting
All
you,
right, see you
Con.
later, Carlinda.
Bless you.
Young Lion, get some rest, man. Let's get back at this tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
I'll holler at y'all later.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace out. Uh-oh. There we go.
They won't let me leave out.
They won't